Here's how I start homeschool mornings with 4 kids under 6 in a way that feels calm, simple, and actually doable. I like to start my day, if possible, getting up sometime between 5:15 and 5:45 and get some time to just pray and get ready slowly. Really ask God what my kids are going to need for the day and anything that's on his heart to share with me. That's how I prefer to start my mornings, coffee included. My youngest usually wakes up sometime around 6 a.m. And so I know that at that point I'm going to for sure begin being on for the day. And it's really important to me to have some time to myself to be prepared before she's awake. My other kids have okay to wake clocks, and so they don't come out of their rooms until 6:30 at the earliest, no matter when they may wake up. That's a habit that we started a long time ago, and it's been so fruitful for our family just to be able to have a really consistent morning experience, and for my kids to also know how to play independently prior to that time. So by the time that they're waking up, they all have a morning checklist. Before we had our youngest, Jane, all my kids, it was a goal of ours that they all knew how to fully complete their checklist before breakfast time. So for the most part, they all get their clothes on for the day, brush their teeth, do their hair, put their dirty clothes in the hamper, and bring their water bottles to the table. And they know those are the things expected of them to have done before we start to eat breakfast. Now, in all these things I'll share, this is our aim. So every single day, does it go absolutely perfectly? No. Do sometimes my kids need reminders? Yes. But our aim is that they complete their checklist before breakfast. And we really see that if we, the days that doesn't happen, it is a little bit more tricky to get some of those things done. So that's what we aim for. And my husband is breakfast duty. He does that before he goes to work. And so he cooks breakfast for the kids. We usually have something really simple like toast, eggs. If we can add in like an avocado or peanut butter, we try to, and then a fruit on the side. We make almost the same thing every day of the week. And the weekends we get more creative with French toast or a casserole bake of some kind. While he's owning breakfast duty, I'm getting my last things ready for the day. I'm always thinking about like, what's the snack gonna be I'm gonna need to prepare? What's our morning outing going to be? Do I already have the diaper bag packed? Things like that. I just don't like being in a rush. One of probably my least favorite things, and what I feel serves me the least as a mom also, is if I'm creating an environment where I have to be in a rush. And I really feel like it's up to me and I have complete control over being prepared, especially because I have a lot of time at my disposal now that I don't have a nursing baby or baby up in the night. So I'll get some of those final things ready while he's owning the breakfast time beginning. He heads out by 6:30 a.m. and then I am fully on for the day. So after we have finished breakfast and cleaned up, my kids all have a morning chore that they complete, usually involving dishes or the dishwasher in some way. And then by that point, at least my middle two are pretty squirrely. They are 4.5 and 5.5, almost 6. And so they definitely need to get outside. So we all usually get outside in the morning, and we'll be out there for about a half an hour or so. Sometimes they'll stay out there and I'll come inside and make sure my snack is ready. I almost always prepare a protein muffin for our morning snack. Sometimes this equals out to be about an hour to an hour and a half after breakfast time has begun once we get through all of the things. But I like to have it ready. And we'll have our morning muffin together while I read to us from our Bible story book that we're using right now. We're using the Book of Belonging. It's been really beautiful. If you don't know my family story, we moved to Mobile, Alabama in July, end of June of this year. And we're planted in a church that's rooted in what we call beloved identity. Look it up if you're curious, but it's really difficult to find children's Bible resources that are rooted in that kind of foundational theology about how God views us. And so it's been huge to find a resource to read to them that is rooted in beloved identity. And after that, we, when possible, like to turn on World Watch News. It's about 10 minutes long, and many mornings of the week it's been really special to gather with my kids and pause frequently the channel so we can talk about what is being shared on this biblical worldview news resource for my kids. This week we talked about the peace talks between Ukraine and Russia. We talked about the tradition of turkeys being pardoned for Thanksgiving in the White House. We talked about turkeys being purchased by grocery stores to be a loss leader, what that means financially, how it drives consumer purchasing. It was such a great conversation, and all prompted because we watched the news together. So my kids love doing that. They love sharing with their dad when he gets home over dinner the things that they've learned from that. It's just been a really fun way to connect and engage them with real world issues. So very soon we're going to be heading on a morning outing, and this can vary in a lot of different ways. We'll either be meeting a friend, going on a field trip of some kind, headed to a park, something like that. It changes based on the day of the week and what we have going on. But once our morning outing is done and we come back home, I like to have lunch, either have had it on the morning outing, so I've brought some bento box containers, or I've prepped those and they're in the fridge so I can bring them out right when we get home. Everybody has lunch. I'm resetting the rooms for quiet time, getting my youngest, who is 18 months old, ready for her nap. And it's really a big reset time of the day, because once she's down for her nap, our 2-hour learning block begins for lessons. Jude is 4.5, and so he is part of those lessons for 1 hour of the time. When my girls do the full 2 hours with me, we really are pouring into them this vision of grit and going after hard things, and we've kind of built into them this routine. We use visual timers so they can see when the next break is. We take breaks to go outside and switch up what we're doing for lessons to keep them really motivated and excited, but we really go after it in these 2 hours a day. We really focus in together, and again, this is kind of a model that we've adapted in our homeschool because of what Alpha School is doing. So if you're not familiar, I highly recommend looking them up. I'll be sharing a lot more about them on my channel, but we've definitely seen the fruit of implementing the way that Alpha School approaches learning and giving our kids resources to keep them motivated and benchmarks for them to get after in terms of educational goals. It's been awesome. So I'm gonna do another video on this channel soon that shows a deep dive into our 2-hour learning block of our lessons and also what our afternoon routine looks like. So I hope you'll stay around, like, and subscribe if this information is something that you're curious about, or you're wanting to kind of consider how you could revamp your own homeschool in a way that feels more calm and connected, because that's absolutely our aim here and we're experiencing it. I'm so excited to tell you more.